A few days ago, YouTube served me a video about an interview of a person who had just retired. He was 50 years of age and he had quit a bank job, an international bank job. The interview was in his second house that he had bought. Maybe bought for his retirement or bought long ago and now being built and used for his retirement. And the interview concentrated only on the financials, including how he bought real estate, did not get a good return, etc., etc., and about no other aspect, as though retirement was only about finance. So let me just tell you that yes, money, before you retire, you think the most important thing is money, right? Saying, oh, how much money do I need to retire? That's the only question which people ask. Normally, that is the only question. Can I retire with 1 crore? Can I retire with 2 crores? Can I retire with 25 crores? Doesn't really matter. People don't know, they are unable to estimate, and they have no clue how much they require to retire. For example, this friend of mine, he said his monthly expenses are 5 lakhs. So I said, you require something like 18 crores to retire. He said, oh, I've got nowhere near that kind of money. I know he's a rich guy. But he said, I don't have that kind of money. What can I do? I said, reduce your monthly expenses. That's the only thing. I'm just a calculator. I'm just proof that Excel works. If you tell me that your annual expenses are 1 lakh, I'll say you require 30 lakhs for retirement. If you say your annual expenses are 1 crore, I'm going to say you require 30 crores for retirement. It is as simple as that. The money part is easy to handle. What are the other aspects of retirement that people have to consider? First is the emotional health. How relevant do you feel after you retire? Because most of us develop skills which are very useful for your job, of meeting people, of collecting visiting cards and talking about your products. Maybe you are in the aluminum industry, maybe you are in the cycle industry, maybe you are in the financial industry. It doesn't really matter. You develop a lot of those skills, and all those skills are completely irrelevant the day you retire, right? The day you retire, none of those skills are going to be of any great use, right? So what do you do? So what do you do? What skills do you need to have after you retire, right? That's one good question to ask if you want to be relevant. If you think you don't want to be relevant, then it's a different ball game altogether. So you have to see what you have to do around in society, in your house, etc. For example, to be relevant inside the house, you have to take away some work which your wife is doing and do it regularly. Not just say, oh, I will make tea when some friends come. That's not taking responsibility. Taking responsibility for one particular event and doing it every day, moon or whether it is sun, moon, shining, raining, doesn't really matter, right? So just do it. It could be just buying milk, it could be buying grocery, it could be buying vegetables, cleaning it, putting it into the correct place, putting it in the fridge, right? All that completely. Or cutting vegetables, cooking, something you should take off so that you are more relevant inside the house. That's important. In the society, you could join the managing committee. Make sure that all the dues are collected, help some senior citizens with their income tax, with their investments, anything like that. So you now have a role inside the house, you have a role outside the house, and none of what you learnt during your work, which means, let's say you were a technical person or you were a marketing person, but some of these skills of communication, etc., could be useful. But whatever you know about the can industry or the automobile industry is not going to be very useful. So some of these new skills have to be learned to be socially relevant, so that you are recognized, you are talked to, people smile at you. If you live in a big gated community, when you go for a walk, people know who you are, right? It's always useful to do that. Some people can completely withdraw into a shell and say, I don't need people. That's another nice way of retiring. I know friends who have done that, but find out which category you belong to. That is the social part. Then there is the emotional part, saying, oh, nobody calls me these days. What do I do? How do I handle? Right? Obviously, people won't call you. Even people who know you, who know you very well, may not be interested in talking to you at this stage because they are busy with their professions. To expect somebody 10 years, 20 years, 30 years younger to keep in touch with you after you have retired is very difficult. But there is one thing which you must do. You must keep track of somebody who is 20 years older and somebody who is 10 years older, seeing what is happening in their lives. So if you are 52 years of age and planning retirement at say 55, look at one 62-year-old and one 72-year-old and maybe one more 75-year-old, because you don't know whether who will die first. So you keep track of 2-3 people in each category, some very closely and some little from far. Try talking to them, helping them with whatever subject you know, right? So doing all that is very useful because socially it will keep you relevant and you will see where these people are going. Don't plan your retirement alone, in the sense that of course you will plan it with your spouse, but see whether you can involve your siblings, cousins, and most important, your classmates, because all your classmates are going to be your age, whether they are with you in school, whether they were with you in college, it doesn't really matter. All the things happen at the same time. You get married within a year or two, you have kids, then you lose your parents, all those things happen at more or less the same time, so it's very easy to identify, right? So you will be more socially relevant when you are with them. So this socially relevant and emotionally preparing for retirement, there will be a lot of overlap. This is one part. The other very important part, which completely was missed by this video, is the health part. Go and get your health checkup done. See what are the parameters which need improvement. When the doctor says you're marginally diabetic, what he means is you need much more exercise. So whatever it is, walking 20,000 steps a day. I don't like this 10,000 steps, because this 10,000 steps includes everything. Going to get your coffee, going to get your tea, everything is included in this 10,000 steps. To me, that's not sufficient. So maybe 20,000 steps, you do some brisk walking, etc. Or if you are already past that stage, then maybe joining a gym, joining a swimming pool, joining some game, because the gym cannot be an end in itself for most people. So start playing badminton or tennis or golf or whatever you can. Ideally a game which is not dependent on another person. So it could be running, because you could just get up in the morning, wear your shoes and start running. Whereas if you're going to run in the group, when somebody comes, doesn't matter, you can still run. But if you're playing badminton, you cannot play badminton alone. Your partner has to come unless you're 4 or 5 people. I prefer a solo game because it's something which you can do whether the others come or don't come. The other advantage in doing these kind of group activities is you are suddenly in touch with people older than you, younger than you. When you're 50, you will find some 70-year-old also running. You will also find some 22-year-old running. So all that is very useful, because you can then connect with them. They may have a completely different requirement. A 22-year-old is asking you for counseling about what education to take, where should she or he invest, and things like that. The 72-year-old is asking which is a good account to withdraw from. Should I take money out of equity? Should I take money out of debt? Right. So all these queries also come. So you are again, a part of your emotional requirement is also met in this social group. So doing all these things, preparing yourself well, socially, emotionally, physically, all this is important. I have not touched anything about the financial aspect, because there are a lot of videos, mine included, saying what you should do for retiring financially. Yes, having 30 times your annual expense is a good starting point, and then of course you should know the bucket theory of where to invest and from where to withdraw, etc., things like that, right? So you could also do some profession, you could do some tuitions, you could sell mutual funds, you could sell life insurance, whatever, something which you are happy to do. Would I be happy selling mutual funds and life insurance? Maybe yes, maybe no. Will I be happy doing tuitions for a fee? Maybe no. Certain things I will do, certain things I will not do, but you have to make your choice. Some people like to travel, some people like music, some people like going to temples, visiting temples, right? Whatever. Maybe all of this, maybe going to the beaches, maybe going to the mountains, maybe taking part in sports events all over the world or all over the country, depending on your budget. All those things you can do, but find out what you're going to do, make your plan, write it down, see how your day will look like. Envisioning how your retirement will look is extremely useful, and especially if you can write it down, discuss with your spouse, discuss with your children, with your other schoolmates, classmates, deciding where you want to live during your retirement. All these things are useful. How somebody makes a video with just about money, about retirement, beats me. Money is important, of course, but in 5 years of retirement, you will realize that money is not as important as you thought, and there are other things which are far more important and relevant when you're planning your retirement. Thank you.